Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are looking live on the Blue Chip Scouting YouTube page. It is draft day, and let me tell you, we are all excited. I am Tyler Fornes, and with me, we have 5 esteemed members of the scouting staff: Nick Price, Mike Kernishin, Russell Jakubowski, Ben Glassmeyer, and Jordan DeLugo. Boys, how hyped are you?
So hyped.
I am juiced.
Wow.
Juiced.
What fucking atrocious enthusiasm, boys.
Let's all talk at once, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just kind of get into it because we've got a lot of talking points to kind of preview the NFL draft here today. Also, let's make sure somebody messages Bossman. Let's get this tweeted out. Let's talk about trades because we've already had some discussion on trades. And I want to start with this one because it is probably the most unique and also least surprising of all the trade discussion. The Saints are trying to move into the top 10, and rumors are it is not for a quarterback. Sean Payton wants to make a splash. Last year, they traded their entire day 3 draft picks to the Minnesota Vikings so they could go get Adam Troutman. They've traded future seconds, future thirds, future firsts. Mickey Loomis is aggressive as hell. Who in the hell do the Saints want if it's not a quarterback?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. I legitimately don't know.
Jalen Waddle?
They're
I'll throw a
saying
name out
not corner and not quarterback. So receiver, I guess. Are we saying Waddle or Smith?
Probably Waddle.
I'm
Whoever
saying
falls.
it's not a receiver. I think it's Micah Parsons, and let me explain.
Oh.
So one thing that the Saints have done incredibly well is they built really well through the trenches. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defensive line. They need one more corner, but you can find that a little later if you need to. They are desperate to find a second linebacker opposite to Mario Davis because they have absolutely nothing. Alex Anzalone is fine, but now he's in Detroit. Micah Parsons, slide him in. Your nickel is DeMario Davis and Micah Parsons. It's absolutely disgusting. It's filthy. I don't necessarily know if it would be worth it, but with kind of like the hybrid stuff that they like to do with those linebackers, I think it makes some sense.
I think Sean Payton wouldn't have a problem with the character issues.
That was going to be my thing.
Yeah.
Do they have a history with like character issue players?
Bountygate.
Also, do you have to trade into the top 10 to get him?
Touche. Also, you don't.
You might have to. You honestly might have to.
New York, you're right.
Denver's the only
Giants.
risk, I think, in the top 10.
I don't think Denver takes him. Based on what I've seen from Broncos people, it doesn't sound like it sounds like he's off their board because of the character stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised for the Saints, at least in terms of character issues. I think Sean Payton feels comfortable trying to overcome those things. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, little bit of a character issue guy there.
Well, that's also different, Jordan, because that was the top of round 4, not round
Absolutely.
1. Round 4 is
Sean
where
Payton
you
is
take
willing
those
to risk
character
it.
guys.
And you got to
you're
give
right.
up. You're gonna have to give up a lot to get from.
Yeah.
What are they
like
at?
2 firsts.
28.
What are they at? 28
Yeah.
to get to into the top 10. That is a huge package to trade up
Do
for
you
a guy.
have to get into the top 10?
Like the
I don't
Chiefs.
know.
The Chiefs
I
went
don't
from
think you
27
do
to
for
10.
Parsons, but you might.
Yeah.
That was 2
Yeah, it'll
firsts
be
and a third.
fascinating to see what teams think about those off-field issues because they are real. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been some nasty stuff that's come out, multiple incidents with Parsons.
Dating back to high school, even.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he hasn't really denied it either. He's kind of said, I made mistakes when I was that so-and-so age. And teams are going to have to weigh it. And it's going to be really interesting to see where he goes because he could fall or he could go right where everybody expects him to go. So,
All right.
Yeah, and I mean, he could be the most impactful defender in the class,
Right,
or he
exactly.
could be a guy that struggles to be a pro. So,
All right, guys. I think this is going to kind of be a good blueprint for the trade. In 2011, when the Falcons traded up for Julio Jones, they traded up to 6. They gave up in 2011, the same year, they gave up a first, a second, and a fourth. And then in 2012, they gave up a first and a fourth. So I think that's going to be the blueprint to kind of try and get up super high in order to make sure that they get their guy.
I think
Where
it would
were
be
they
more of
coming
a
from?
thing where, like, if he fell to a certain point, then maybe they look at it.
Yeah, but even then, like traded up into the top 10 for someone who has, off the field concerns, that's a little
Yeah.
A little risky. That's a little risky for me.
At linebacker too, which is
At
not the
linebacker.
most
Yeah.
This isn't
valuable
a-
position.
This isn't a
I still
quarterback.
think wide receiver makes a lot of sense. Like if whoever of Waddle or Smith slides down or doesn't go earlier, that makes sense. Their receivers after Michael Thomas are not good. Like they adding somebody else for whoever you're going to start at quarterback, or if that's Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, makes a lot of sense. So
Hey, we will not take Lil Jordan Humphrey disrespect here. Then
Oh,
does he even still
God.
play for them?
I forgot he was there.
I
he was in
will
the
say
league.
they do like Traquan Smith a lot,
They do.
and
Yeah.
Marquez Callaway, I think they are also very high on. So
These are not guys that you're not drafting someone though. They're not.
I don't
preventing you from
disagree,
draft someone.
but they could prevent you from trading up from 28 to 9.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, they were manufacturing touches for Devontae Harris. He was working.
I
Really
have to
well.
stop
It's
and think about who that is.
like little punt returner they have. It was like
He's
uber
fast
fast.
and shifty.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them move. I just wouldn't be surprised to see them be aggressive, I guess. Not moving up into the top 10 probably, but if there's a receiver or Parsons or heck, I mean, if they like Jamin Davis a lot, Owusu Koromoa, I've mocked him to them before if he falls a little bit. I think there's a lot of guys that the Saints could be aggressive with.
Yeah,
They were rumored to Farley for Farley as well.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
in my final mock, I had them taking Owusu Koromoa for kind of the same reasons I'm making the argument for Micah Parsons. Like Owusu Koromoa just lets them be more multiple.
Yeah,
And-
I gave them Zaven Collins.
I gave him Caleb Fairley on a slide.
Yeah, I had him trading
Farley.
up for Farley.
Hey, a great team for Zaven Collins to go to? Philadelphia Eagles. At
Yes.
12.
At
Yes.
number 12, yes.
Unironically.
Yes, actually, he would be, but there's two problems with that. Howie Roseman doesn't value linebackers.
Yep.
And you can't take Zaven Collins at 12 if you want Asante Samuel at 12.
That's
Kill
right.
me.
Wait, that's an actual thing. Like
That's
you
an
guys-
actual thing.
So they were talking about it
Listen,
on NFL Network today.
Mike, I called that about a month ago out, and when I was joking with you about them taking him at 12.
Do you know how much I hate you for that, by the way? Like,
Spoke it into
please
existence.
Let that happen. Please, oh God, let that happen.
All right. We can meme the Eagles all we want. We're gonna have plenty more time for that.
we
Let's
will.
talk-
Oh,
we
we
have
will.
plenty of days of that.
Mac
Yeah.
at
Let's
12.
talk about a couple other trade up candidates because we've seen the New England talk, and the New England talk makes a whole lot of sense. Denver, I had as one that could be a really good trade up candidate, but that Teddy Bridgewater thing makes me kind of question it, even though it really shouldn't. It's only $3 million. And then Washington. But Nick, I want to start with your team, the Baltimore Ravens. They have 27-31. Like, I've been talking to some Vikings people, and we've kind of thrown around a couple ideas. If there's a guy that they like at 14, 27-31 for 14 and 90 could be a trade that makes sense for both sides. Is there anybody that the Ravens could want falling into like the middle of the first round so desperately that they'd be willing to make that package up, like a Christian Darrisaw, a Rashawn Slater, Elijah Vera Tucker, or maybe one of these dynamite receivers?
I would argue maybe like Darrisaw would be my first player I would think of because who tweeted that out? I mentioned that the other day. Like he had like some character concerns or off the field that it could cause him to slide.
I'll say
Isn't it,
this.
like,
Yeah.
It's really on the down low. I feel like it's been
Yeah.
kind of hinted at, but never explicitly said what the issues are.
It's been hinted at. I can guarantee you that I haven't seen anything concrete as far as sourced information on the timeline.
All right. Well, regardless, I feel like that would be the one player they would, kind of ship picks off to, say Minnesota for. I mean, that obviously we all saw they traded Orlando Brown. Feels a little weird, Kansas City of all people, but no, I would like Darrisaw in Baltimore. I feel like that's a kind of a mean, rough, tough, nasty kind of like player they would go after. So I'd be fine with it. But as for receiver, like I don't know. I don't think like Smith gets past like New York because they've apparently been rumored to like him a lot. I don't think Waddle's there. I mean, you can make the argument for Bateman, but I feel like you could wait a little bit long before you pounce on him. But yeah,
I think Darrisaw makes a lot of sense as a guy who he could end up being the best offensive tackle from the get-go in this draft with his physical ability. When you saw him in his biggest moments in college, he was at his best. Obviously, you have the lowlights against some lesser competition, but he has the potential to be very good very early.
Yeah, definitely.
For a team in a championship window.
Exactly. And with him not having to play left tackle in that situation where he can kick in at right tackle. Also, I mean, I know it's not a big playing factor. He's a local kid. He's from right outside of Baltimore.
That's right.
Yeah, he's from the same hometown as Chase Young, which oddly enough has like 400 people according to Google.
And just two of the most talented football players you could ask for.
Right? 1999 in Upper Marlboro, Maryland was a really good year.
Yeah, I have friends from there. Yeah. Actually, fun fact, I had one of my friends actually played against Chase Young in high school. So.
Oh, poor guy.
Hey, Nick, do me a favor. Mail me some Jimmy's seafood, please.
I don't have that power.
How do you keep it fresh in the mail, man?
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
Room temperature seafood.
Pray.
Yeah.
Yikes.
All right. Well, we've kind of talked about some trades. Let's kind of move on to some shocking picks. And I think one of them that'll be really shocking, that won't be shocking at all, is Christian Barmore to the Raiders. But I'll say this. I think Gregory Rousseau has a really good shot to go in the first round. And one thing that, even though a lot of us don't necessarily like Rousseau that much as far as compared to the rest of this edge class, I think the NFL really like him.
Yeah.
Especially with the size and the length. And he has a relatively quick first step, and he does play with some power at times. There's a lot to work with Rousseau. Who are the teams that are going to pick him? Like, the ones that stand out to me are the Ravens.
Yep.
The Saints, the Packers, because they like drafting big guys and playing them out of position, a la Rashawn Gary.
Uh-huh.
The Buccaneers, who don't need him, but they can groom him, and him next to Vita Vea would be absolutely filthy.
I would love that.
Where else could he go?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a team that's going to have a plan in terms of not getting him on the field immediately or only having him on the field in certain situations, because he just doesn't look like he knows what he's doing on at least half of his snaps, just like no plan, whether it be in a pass rush plan or against the run. He's just kind of there sometimes. So I think it's a team that's planning on not having him be an impact player early on. Tampa, I think makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
If you're taking him, he's at most a rotational pass rusher right away. You get him in positions where he can win. He has a lot of technique to work on because, let's be honest, he had none at Miami. His rushes were effort, coverage sacks. Hey, I'm not blocked. I'm going to go get the quarterback. Like, that's what we saw with Rousseau.
Against bad offensive lines, too. Let's not forget that. Like, Florida State couldn't
destroying Florida State, exactly.
Yeah, like, Florida State couldn't block me, Fornes, and Jordan, and Nick, because we're the four biggest here. But
I don't know about that. But
how much you weigh, Mike?
I played DN in high school. I could probably
230.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm playing nose tackle, I guess, because I weigh 290. So here we
there
go.
You go. You could get some push in there.
170.
You thought you outweighed me?
I would have pegged you at about 150 if I had to take a solid guess.
No. I'm 6'2" and also a little hefty.
Oh.
Russ is about to be comped to Devonta Smith over here.
Yeah. Thought I was 150. I wish. Actually, I don't. I've been that
pounds on Smith.
I'm Devonta Smith for sure.
There you go.
All right, so hey, let's kind of keep this conversation rolling.
Yeah.
Who else could shock you in round one? Like, we've heard some rumors about Pete Werner. Like,
I want to talk about Pete
Werner.
Werner.
Not going to happen.
Oh, let's talk about Pete Werner.
This will be a fun conversation.
Listen,
Mike,
as president of the Pete Werner fan club at Blue Chip, I would love nothing more than one of my favorite linebackers to go at the end of round one and just really get Mike's gander, just to really set him off. I would pay money to see that. All joking aside, but no, like, I mean, Cleveland needs a linebacker. You know, they have a need a linebacker from what I can understand. So that would be like one of the potential spots. You know, if New Orleans doesn't end up trading up, maybe.
Yeah, I think his best role is as a Sam linebacker, though, which is just even more devalued than the other linebacker positions.
Yeah.
And while I value his skill set and ability and like everything he brings to the table, I don't think a team is going to take a shot in the first round. But I'd love to see it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think what he's got going for him too is he's more ready than like Jamin Davis or Baron Browning. Like he's
That's
more
not
ready
hard to be
go
more ready
right
than
away.
Jamin Davis. Like it's
Right.
not.
That's the like I'd like Pete Warner, but I don't think he's a first round player. Like I do not think that he should go in the first round. But I can see the argument being made if a team really needs someone to come in and step in right away, over Jamin Davis or Baron Browning, somebody who's probably going to take a year to get acclimated to the NFL in a full-time role.
You're looking for like a championship team, like top 10 that just needs like a coverage linebacker who can just step in and play right now.
Yes.
That Jamin Davis just screams Green Bay Packer to me. They've been
He does.
so desperate for a coverage linebacker.
I had them trading back and still getting him.
Like
in my
Christian
prediction.
Kirksey, 2 years, $16 million last year, and they cut bait because Kirksey is just not that good. Like they're so desperate for that coverage linebacker. Jamin Davis there makes sense.
If the Packers need a linebacker, that means they're definitely not going to take one, right?
Yep.
No,
They'll just take their quarterback.
Jordan. They just don't do that with receivers. They do that with everything else.
I don't know, man.
It's our best inside linebacker.
Jordan Love and that Boston College running back last year. My goodness. I just have no faith that they're going to do anything that anybody can predict.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't be surprised in terms of like surprise picks. Jordan Reed from the Draft Network mentioned Tyson Campbell, which would be fair reach for me. But then also think about some of like the guys with injuries or possible red flags. Like I wouldn't be shocked, even in spite of his injuries, to see Landon Dickerson go in round one. I wouldn't be shocked even to see Andre Cisco go in round one because of his ball skills.
Whoa.
No.
I mean, we saw Edmonds go in
skills.
round one.
No.
I love Cisco, but not round one.
I don't even think he has great ball skills. I think he's a
He
ball
also is coming
magnet,
off an
not
injury.
a ball
If
hawk.
He's
a
got injury stuff,
safety's
too.
going to slip in, it's going to be Richie Grant.
And here's the thing. I'm not saying he should. I am far from saying he should. But a couple years ago, we saw it's Terrell Edmonds that's a safety, right?
Yes.
I get them.
Oh,
yes.
God.
We saw
Please no.
Terrell Edmonds go in round one. And if he can go round one, I think Cisco can. But I also think one more surprise from me, Kelvin Joseph.
Boss man fat, baby.
Let's
Boss man fat.
go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so one thing about Cisco, he does have the best range in the class of any safety. But he's wildly unpredictable. And I would probably take him over Edmonds. Heads up. If I had to make a pick there. Between those two, between a guy that went in the first round that definitely shouldn't have in the past. So that would be really interesting. I think at cornerback, Greg Newsome is obviously projected to go in the first round now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes ahead of J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. That's my little surprise there at cornerback.
I'd say my one big surprise could be Ifeatu Melifonwu, especially if you get a cover three team back end of the draft. Like, are you telling me Robert Saleh, if Greg Newsome's off the board, wouldn't love Ifeatu Melifonwu in his defense? The physicality, the length, the speed, the quickness, and he just screams Robert Saleh kind of player.
Yeah.
It's too bad Seattle. I mean, where are they picking here?
Like
Second round.
6.
Yeah, exactly.
I want him to
too
fall
bad
so
they don't
bad
have a
for them.
first round pick.
He is like their perfect. He's their ideal corner. Like if he gets to them in the second round, they are taking him. Like I think they take him for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to some guys that we might be seeing on day two. They're like, why in the world are they still there? And the one name that really jumps out to me here is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and it has nothing to do with his talent. Where in the hell's the fit? If the Saints move up and they go take like a J.C. Horn or they take a Jalen Waddle, that's a big fit. What if the Packers take Jamin Davis? Like Owusu-Koramoah for me was always the hardest to slot. Where is he going to go? Who's going to value that hybrid type player who's a outside linebacker / overhang? And I think he's probably the weird name that's going to drop because on my board, he's, I think, like 16. I love Owusu-Koramoah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same.
Where are we at?
Yeah,
Hunter,
Hunter,
I see you, Hunter.
I have a
see
little
you.
like tidbit.
I would love Owusu-Koramoah
locally, like in Detroit. I've heard like I don't know how true it is. Just some of these guys like we're bullshitting talking. They think that if Detroit trades out, Owusu-Koramoah would be on the radar.
I didn't know Owusu-Koramoah was a knee biter. This is good news.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's a hard hitter, dude. Like this, it's more the fact that like the Lions have like literally no linebackers who can cover, and like no safeties who can cover. Oh, Tracy Walker's not bad, but like they have just a really big need in the back seven. And I've heard like they could target Jabril Cox in the second. They could look at Pete Warner in the second. They're like really looking for that like hybrid linebacker.
Yeah, Hunter's comment here, I think when you talk about how Rivera used Shaq Thompson in Carolina, that does make a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. And Owusu-Koramoah is basically Shaq Thompson.
Little bit smaller than Shaq, but yeah, because isn't Shaq Thompson like 6'3" and like 235, 240? Or am I making him way bigger?
No, that's about right.
Yeah, because Koramoah is closer to like 220, but he's going to play that similar role, sideline to sideline. It makes too much sense for Washington. I don't understand why he would fall out, unless like Micah Parsons is the pick at 19 because he's made it that far for Washington. But like, even still, I mean, Russ mentioned Detroit. I could see if he's hanging there at the end of day one, even trading up to Tampa, who I think would want to trade out of round one anyways. They don't desperately need that pick. They could go home and get him, with him at pick 32 even. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think a wild card team could be the Jaguars. I mean, Joe Cullen's going to want to do a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, okay. And we're talking about the Jags right here. Remember, Balky sucks.
Hey, Jordan, now that you have Balky, just get excited about running backs in round 2 with devastating leg injuries.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's actually talked about trying to avoid injuries now that he's in Jacksonville, and we'll see how it all goes. I think Jacksonville in general in this draft is just going to be a wild card outside of Trevor Lawrence, because you don't know the impact of Urban Meyer being there on what the draft picks are going to be, and you don't know what Trent Baalke looks like after not having Harbaugh tied to his hip and in his ear, and it's just going to be really interesting to see how they attack their needs and how they value players.
So another guy that I want to bring up for talk about falling out of the first round. I know like he may go like top 20, but we kind of have to address this as a possibility is Jalen Phillips. I mean, we got to remember the guy medically retired from football like 3 years ago.
Hey, I want to point this out, Nick, because it wasn't necessarily a medical retirement. It was, hey, UCLA is like, you probably shouldn't play football anymore, and he decided to pursue other interests, but he came back. Like, I think medical retirement it's correct technically, but I think it's a little unfair to say, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just worrisome. It's got to be worrisome for teams.
Oh, it's like fucking worrisome.
There's our first cuss.
I know you guys. Some of you guys are higher on Phillips than I am. But he's still good. Like he's in a normal year, he's probably like he's going to 11 to the Giants, or he's going. But I think you have to look at that and consider all the injuries. I think he still goes round 1. Like I don't think he slips out of round 1, unless. And now we can talk about Ojulari after, but the whole thing with his knee, you have him probably sliding down. And then there's concerns with basically every edge rusher who's been rumored to go in round 1. Like they all have issues, whether it's just being super raw or injuries or whatever. So I just think there's no way that as he's closer to a finished product than a lot of these other guys are. So him sliding out of round 1 would be pretty shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, tape-wise, he should be a borderline top 5, easily top 10 guy, in my opinion, and would be without those injury issues. I think had he been able to play his whole career and not worry about the concussions, this is a guy that is flirting to be a top 5 pick. But concussions are so real. Like, that's one hit, and it could be over. Yeah. So it'll be fascinating to see how teams kind of different teams how they see that injury, and is he past that? I don't know if you can get past a concussion history.
Concussions are weird, man. You see guys bounce back in 2 days. You see like Sidney Crosby take almost like 18 months to really come back from it. They're just weird. And
the good thing is he's healthy right now.
Yes,
he just
and he was healthy all last year, and he played. He played all last year.
So yeah, Aziz Ojulari though. Y'all want to talk about him?
If he has a degenerative knee, he's probably falling to round 3, round 4. And
for sure.
I don't know what that is because none of us have access to the medical information. But based on the reports that we've heard, if that knee issue is degenerative, you're talking a Josh Sweat type fall, and that's mid-round 4.
They said the same thing about Miles Jack.
I was really about to bring up Miles Jack.
I don't remember that being degenerative, though.
Yeah, they said it was a time bomb.
But he was a top 5 pick, and and he slid to 2. We're looking at like a 20 pick sliding way past 2.
The thing with Miles Jack is he had a devastating knee injury that they thought could be something like that, but Ojulari hasn't had anything. So for me, I think this is more worrisome because the Miles Jack thing was, hey, this knee exploded and then we fixed it versus this knee has had no issues and it could explode.
Well, the doctors
does that make sense?
It does make sense, but the doctors were still saying it was a time bomb type situation. Like that was the specific verbiage that I kept hearing. It was a time bomb. And, he's played now 5 years and has had no issues there in terms of the knee. Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what the difference between Miles Jack's situation and Aziz Ojulari's situation is. So it's going to be up to these teams' medical evaluations. And it's just so frustrating in the draft with that. Like, we just don't have that access, and we never will. So it'll be a thing where he could still go in the 20s or he could fall into the 3rd round.
Hunter, I'm going to answer your question here quick. If Aziz slides, does that mean Joe Tryon goes round 1? I don't think Aziz matters. I think Tryon goes round 1, and I have him going to the Browns. I think he fits what the Browns prototype is. If he gets past Cleveland and Baltimore doesn't trade up, he's a Baltimore guy. Like that big edge who can set the edge in the running game. Tryon has been working incredibly hard on his bend. If you don't already follow Roman Tomashoff on Twitter, rTomashoff34, Huskies expert. Ben, you're shaking your head.
Yes.
He's
the go-to. He's the go-to.
Tryon has been working incredibly on his bend. I've seen some videos. It is excellent because it just was not there in 2019, but it's improving. And if you can prove that flexibility, that makes Tryon really the complete package.
Tryon is I would take Tryon 100 times out of 100 over Rousseau in round 1.
Yep.
Every single time I take him over Rousseau. So that's just where I'm at with him.
What?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I was like, go for that.
I was like, oh no, I'm a really big traits guy, and that's my biggest thing.
Okay, so let me stop you right there, Russ.
Okay.
What is Rousseau's trait other than size?
I think he's got good speed to power. He's got a decent get off. I think he's like a projections guy. Like looking down the road, if you can work on his bend, he put on weight. He went to the Senior Bowl. He was 285. I think you can play him inside and out.
Wait, Rousseau went to the Senior Bowl?
No, he didn't.
He went. No, he didn't play. They Drew Rosenhaus was down there like showing him off. Yeah.
Okay. So Eric, let me ask you this: Rousseau or Peyton Turner?
I'm just Peyton Turner is like I'm more of like a Ronnie Perkins over Peyton Turner. Like Joseph Osai over Peyton Turner.
Obviously, you guys know my love for Peyton Turner. He is my favorite player in this draft class. But I wanted to bring that up because when you talk about guys who have size, Peyton Turner has much more to work with, in my opinion, than Rousseau because he's got more traits.
And he's more
refined.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's more versatile. I mean, I've comped Turner to Trey Flowers. A lot of the same style of versatility. Mm-hmm. Like he's never going to be a 12, 13 sack a year guy, but he'll consistently get you between 6 and 9.
Oh, I disagree with you. I think he could be a 13, 15 sack a year guy if he gets in the right system.
I mean, it's all scheme fit, but he fits in a lot of schemes. I mean, you could see him easily in Tennessee. Any of like the Belichickian type defenses, he's a fit right off the bat.
And here's something interesting. He views himself as an outside linebacker. Imagine him in Baltimore,
fun.
Nick.
Oh, that's fun. Well, I mean, even then, I think they'd still kind of deploy him like with his hand in the dirt, kind of using like Calais Campbell. But even then, like, yeah, that's fine with me.
Imagine him learning behind Calais Campbell for a year. I would become a
sneak into
Baltimore
the first
fan.
round.
You know what?
31.
Or maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe.
I think it
That'd be
depends.
fun.
It depends on the other guys. Like we just talked about Ojulari and we've talked about Rousseau. It depends on what teams think about those guys. Phillips, if teams
Jason
are like,
Owa.
we're not taking if they're like, we're not taking guys that are super raw, we're not taking dudes with injury issues, then like he's there. Like he's the next best option after Tryon and Pay probably, who goes earlier.
Yeah, he could be viewed as a better prospect by a lot of teams than Rousseau or Ojulari because of their question marks. He doesn't have those question marks. He has an upward trajectory, certainly, coming off of the season he had and then the Senior Bowl performance. It'll be fascinating to see where he falls.
All right. I wanted to get to a question here from Anthony, who talked about Najee Harris to the Steelers. And that's been a commonly mocked spot. Let's talk running backs here for a minute, guys.
Why not?
Running backs in the first round. We don't have to agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best time to take a running back in the first round is when you have a relatively complete team and you need one piece to set you over the top. That's why I mocked Travis Etienne to the Buffalo Bills at 30, because he completes that offense. He gives them a true home run threat out of the backfield, which allows them to do a lot more things with their offense instead of just going 4 or 5 wide. Najee to the Steelers, to me, feels like poor process.
Yes,
absolutely.
Needs too much.
Yes.
Like, Najee to the Dolphins, I understand a lot more at 18 than Najee to the Steelers at 24. You can justify Najee at 18 because, hey, we really wanted to get this guy. We also have 36 and 50. Like, we're in a position where we can still draft a lot of quality talent, but at the same time, we want to make sure we get our guy.
The Steelers right now are like offensive line. It looks like we're shrouding out like Zach Banner, and again, really bad
Isn't
with
he
last
hurt?
No, he was. Yeah, he tore his ACL like week 2 last year, and then Chukwuma like Okafor at like right tackle. David DeCastro was really bad last year. Like the DeCastro like hype was not. It was not on brand. We have J.C. Hasenauer at center. And we have Kevin Dotson. Kevin Dotson was a sleeper. He was pretty good.
Dotson rules. Hey, boss man, Kevin Dotson, let's go.
But like that offensive line, you think Najee's going to fix the problem? Like,
Nope.
No, he's going to get creamed behind the line.
They're just going to see Najee Harris and think he's Le'Veon Bell 2.0.
Yes.
He's not.
They
share some similar characteristics.
They do.
All right, I want to break in with this. Ian Rappaport just tweeted some names who could be picked earlier than expected. Let's get some live reactions.
Let's go.
There's 5 names.
Okay.
Auburn wide receiver Anthony Schwartz.
Oh, missed me with it.
Oklahoma center Creed Humphrey.
Okay.
Who is
It's the brand.
12 on my big board. I love Creed
Top
Humphrey.
20 player. Top 20
Northern
player.
Iowa tackle Spencer Brown.
I understand.
Brand.
If
My
you
brand.
look at Spencer Brown's mock draftable spider web, it's fucking filthy. It is incredible. Oregon safety Javon Holland,
No.
Canada!
who is a brand guy for some, and some don't like him at all. And Notre Dame tackle Liam Eichenberg. Let's start with Eichenberg here.
Yeah, I want to jump in on Eichenberg. I actually have him in the first round of my mock draft.
Where?
I have him to Indy after a run on offensive tackles early on.
Perfect for Indy because he's ready to step in right now and play well, which is what Indy needs more than a little bit better potential.
Yeah, he's actually a similar prospect coming out to Costanzo, who he would be replacing over there. And like you said, he's ready to go right now. They feel like they're in a championship window. Whether they are or not remains to be seen. They have the defense to do it. Who knows what Carson Wentz is going to do on the field this year. But I think Eichenberg could definitely sneak into the first round. I don't think he should, but I think the Colts are the type of team that they're going to go for a need if they feel like they can win the championship or compete for a championship. And Eichenberg fits that need, especially if you see like Tevin Jenkins off the board already.
I think with Eichenberg, kind of building off that, I don't think he's a surprise to go in round 1. Honestly,
No.
He shouldn't be.
I don't like him. I don't like him that high. But he's really like I do like his tape. I think you look at Indy, obviously, as you talked about. Baltimore has been like kind of common. I've seen that a couple times. And then even Tampa at 32, I think that's potential. And Donovan Smith like played well in the playoffs, but has been not good otherwise.
And has an out
like,
his contract next offseason.
Right.
Too.
So if again, like we've talked about Tampa, they don't need anything. They return every single starter on their roster, every single starter. So just getting depth or someone who could take over and improve a spot, I don't think there's really any way he falls out of round 1 unless tackles just don't go.
Yeah. So for Schwartz, like what is early for Anthony Schwartz? I think most people have him in the 4th or 5th round, probably.
Round 2, probably. Like the NFL will overdraft speed. We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, I would not be shocked to see him end of round 2 with that 4.2 speed. Spencer Brown at 17.
You know what? It's really rich for me, but like brand wise, I would love that.
He's the most athletic offensive tackle.
But he's not a Mayock / Gruden type guy. He wasn't like a 4-year guy at a big name school. He's too athletic for the pick. Like,
I think it's Tevin Jenkins. I think Raiders is 17 has to be Tevin Jenkins.
No, Raiders is 17 is going to be Barmore.
I think it's going to be Barmore, but I mean, why don't I do 16, 17? Because I think that Arizona is actually going to trade back because they have no mid-round picks. It's like 1, 2, and then like a whole bunch of 6th and 7ths. So they don't have much.
I believe
they have a 5th as well.
Go?
I don't know.
Kenyon Drake. I know that's 1.
Oh, Kenyon Drake and Hopkins still.
No.
That's
Rodney Hudson was their 3rd.
Oh,
Rodney Hudson. That's right.
Mm-hmm. So I could see them trading back, and we talked about Tevin Jenkins. I think that 16 is a good trade-up spot for Tevin Jenkins. Like maybe the Steelers. They should probably think of doing that. But I think 17 is going to be Barmore. There's no other reason for them to have released Maurice Hurst. I still haven't been able to figure that one out yet.
Yeah,
it's been 3 weeks.
I couldn't believe more teams weren't jumping on the waivers either.
Right?
Nobody signed him off waivers or claimed him.
Is he signed?
He ended up going to San Francisco.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco, yeah.
But that wasn't off waivers. They just signed him.
Yeah, I got
Free
right.
So yeah, that was shocking. I thought the Jaguars should be in on Hurst, but I think most fan bases thought their team should be in on Hurst to a certain extent.
How about the Niners signing both Arden Key and Maurice Hurst, and they literally don't have to move?
Yeah, they're already where they need to be.
That's funny.
Wait.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
How close is Las Vegas to San Francisco?
Oh, they're not in Oakland anymore.
Oh.
All right, Boomer, settle down. Jesus.
They might still have
Boomer.
They
Who are
might
the other
still
names
have
on
their
Rapid
places
Fist,
in
Please no
the
Lions.
Bay Area, though.
Yeah. All right.
So
Let's talk some mock drafts, guys.
Cool. Let me pull mine up.
Yes, Anthony, I am Canadian, and it does come out more like it.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, nobody cares. It's okay. Anyways.
Minnesota.
Yeah. I'm basically South Canada. It's fine.
Yeah.
So let's talk mock drafts.
All right.
I want to know everybody's biggest bold prediction with their mock drafts. And let's talk about those bold predictions.
Okay.
Nick, I'm going to start with you. And we'll just kind of go around the horn. What is your biggest bold prediction that you have in your final mock draft?
All right, now this might get some faces from people, but Jalen Mayfield to Pittsburgh.
Now, why did you do that?
I can see Vince. Based on need, I'm higher on Mayfield. I could see Ben grimacing really hard right now.
His tape is bad, though.
I know.
2020 tape
tested
wasn't
so
bad. The 2
poorly.
games he played.
His testing was so rough.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's my biggest bold prediction. Like somebody's going to reach for Mayfield. I don't know.
He's been so heavily mocked in the first round, though, so it's like not completely shocking.
Yeah,
It's fallen off though.
The
But
parity
yeah,
is
exactly.
insane. Like where most of us are gonna have him, and like where other people are gonna have him.
yeah.
I have him at like 63.
I don't hate it. I don't
Lower
think it's
than
gonna
that.
happen.
I think I have like a
Also,
fourth
like
round
I have
grade
another
on
one.
him or a third, something like that.
What's that?
I think I have a third or fourth round grade on him. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think I have like a early 2 or something like that. I can't remember either. But anyway,
As a
No,
tackle
like-
or guard?
Everybody's a guard.
Everybody's
I graded
guard
him
in
as a
this class.
tackle.
That's right.
Personally,
Yeah, I
but-
graded him as a
Man,
tackle.
He's a better fit.
it's
I
a
think he's
shame that
probably more
guards don't
square.
matter because that means nobody matters. Oh, all right, Mike. What was your biggest one?
My biggest surprise pick, I tried to go as predictive as I could, but there's always one surprise fall every year that no one see coming. I went with Devontae Smith being this year's biggest faller. I had him going 18th.
I don't think that's crazy.
Like, don't get me wrong, I would take him in the top 12, but I think that so many teams are just going to overthink the whole 166 pounds thing. Like,
Look, I don't think it's overthinking, and I'll tell you why. And Ben,
and we lost Forness's mic.
can you
Cut
hear
out
me?
there. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good now.
So let me make my case. You're betting on an outlier that's not fast.
Yeah.
Every outlier, like Deshaun Jackson was an outlier weight wise. Burner. Devontae Smith's not a burner. You look at Alabama's offense. That was incredibly space friendly, where they got guys off coverage and they let them work through clean space with a lot of motion, misdirection, and just a lot of unique stuff. Sarkisian was a master at Alabama. And I think that's something that you need to really think about. Devonta Smith, let's say he goes to a team where he's going to face a lot of press man coverage. What happens when Stephon Gilmore punches him in the mouth 5 times in a row? And the durability of him being able to withstand the physicality across the middle, because that's where he's going to make his money. It really is worrisome, and it would prevent me from taking him top 15 even with his skill set. I think
if you're not going to consider that crazy then or surprising, would you consider Alex Leatherwood going in round 1?
no, because I haven't projected to go to the Ravens because
Well, there you go. Like,
with his athletic testing, it matches his film going vertically. And what is Baltimore going to ask him to do? Move vertically.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect fit.
I didn't go all that crazy in mine.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I didn't either.
My craziest thing was Zaven Collins at 24 to the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
not
crazy
at
either.
all.
No, but the
I
Dolphins
think he could
traded
go
back
earlier
from
than that,
18.
honestly.
And then Joe Tryon at 26.
Yeah, I had that too.
How about J.C. Horn falling to 24?
Whoa.
I think that's pretty crazy.
All
State your
right.
case, Jordan.
State my case. I think Greg Newsome goes earlier, just not based off of any issues per se with Joe or with J.C. Horn, but just his test. Like, he's just had a meteoric rise. I think he could go earlier with his testing and his film in 2020. And then I think you could get a team that still likes Caleb Farley better than Horn. I have the Cardinals actually going after Farley. And then Surtain as well needs to go off the board as before Horn. Or it doesn't need to, but there's a good chance he will. So I think you could see him as CB4. And, of course, Asante Samuel's going to sneak in there now, right?
I hate you.
At 12.
Look, if somebody...
We lost
your
you.
mic again.
Your mic.
Jeez, what the hell's going on? Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, now we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to have to look into that. But Asante Samuel Jr. going like 29, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I have him at 20.
Yeah, I don't mind him at 29.
Detroit.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
12 is no.
Yeah.
It would be so Howie Roseman, though.
That would be so fun.
With
Shake
Horn,
up the draft.
it seems like from what I've gathering from the reports, it seems like that's where the Cowboys are leaning now. We thought it
I've
was
heard
like
that.
Surtain for a long time. But like kind of in the past few days, they've been like, yeah, we might be leaning towards Horn. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. Surtain and Horn are both great, and they're both good fits for Dan Quinn. So it doesn't matter either way. But I still kind of think it's Surtain. I mocked them Surtain at 10.
I did as well.
Kyle Pitt's dad thinks they're going to trade up for Pitts.
I don't. I want them to. I really want them to.
Bro,
That would be
I don't
so
think-
great.
I don't think Jerry will do it. I don't.
Harbs
think
made
he'll
an
trade up.
interesting comment with the Saints trading up for Pitts if he slides.
Oh my god, that'd be
Yeah.
incredible.
No.
No.
I want no reason to be a Saints
I
fan.
might actually cry.
He would be incredible there. Absolutely
Oh.
incredible.
I would love
No. Send him to Dallas, please.
He'd be so fun in Dallas too.
Oh
Anyways,
God.
Yeah, I think that would probably put them over the top as the favorites in the East. What do y'all think about that?
Imagine Jason Witten, but not a white boy supreme.
It's really
That's lovely.
imagine having to cover CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Kyle Pitts on a weekly basis. Having to figure out how to cover all four of them.
Do the Ravens play again this year? Hope
No,
not.
we played
would-
hey Nick, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, we played them. We don't have to play that for another 3 years.
There you go.
But their defense would give up 40 points a game. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
mean,
It's the only my argument for Pitts round one is this is a super deep corner class. I really like a lot of the kind of the second. I guess you consider them the second tier guys. You can get someone in round two who, if you want to take Fitu or you want to take Kelvin Joseph, like those are both good players who can take over
You said
and start
Pitts
right
round
away.
one.
Yeah, if you want to take Pitts round one and then go to for the Cowboys taking corner round two and addressing that in round two, and then just going secondary heavy in the second and third rounds. Like I'd be fine with that either way. So
Yeah, I think any team that gets Pitts, you got to be fine with that, right?
yeah.
Any of you guys have more surprise fallers or risers in the mock draft?
I did mine was 3 rounds, and my first round isn't really that shocking. Like I try to be as safe as possible for accuracy purposes.
yeah.
For Sean Slater at 12 to the Eagles, that's kind of almost because we talked to Mike about that one. Like they don't really care for Andre Dillard anymore. Mylata's kind of
Almost immediately they gave up on him.
yeah. I have Davis Mills in the second to the Bears. More
Okay.
of like a Ryan Pace is going to panic and do something stupid because he's mobile. He's
You know
gonna
what we
maul.
really need?
Akron
Kyle
White.
Trask at 28. Let's go.
No.
No, we don't.
No,
we
we don't need that.
to me.
For
Can we
chaos
not have
sake-
that and say we
For
still
chaos
didn't
sake,
have
it's no
that?
problem.
He would be the third best quarterback there.
Hey, I love Kyle Trask.
We know.
The Gator fan loves Kyle Trask. I'm a Gator fan too, but I didn't. Where are we at here? I got my Gator stuff right here. No Kyle Trask in the first round. Now, if he had a few years to sit behind Drew Brees, I might entertain you. But
You
Yeah.
might.
Kellen Mond at the top of round 2.
That's
Yeah.
disgusting. I will
I
take Kyle
hate
Trask
that.
over Kellen Mond all day because Kellen Mond is a 46 game sample size of what the fuck are you doing?
I got asked about Kellen Mond at 36 yesterday.
Gross.
No,
I'm
absolutely
killing on
not.
to the Eagles
No.
in the third.
I swear, those who have Kellen Mond ranked highly did not follow his college career and just watch tape. Because his college career, he progressed, but not that well. And yeah, exactly. Mike's hand, wave. Hey, you look great. Oh, you look like shit. Hey, you look great. Oh, you look like shit. No, no.
He could go 24-28 one week for like 350 and 5 touchdowns, and then the next week it's like, oh, you went 9 of 24.
yeah, is there a quarterback that could go in the second round that you would like in the second round? Anybody?
Nope.
Mills.
Not really.
Davis
Nope.
Mills.
Okay, yeah,
I like
Mills,
Mills,
maybe.
but I'm higher
Maybe,
on Mills. Like
perhaps Mills.
I like Mills better than Mac Jones.
See,
I'm gonna just
Mills
say
and
that really
Trask are
quietly,
similar
but-
in this way. There's just so little
right.
tape. There's little game
It's a
play
huge
for
projection.
both of them. They're big projections. I would be more comfortable taking those two in round 2 than I would be taking Mac Jones at 3.
I think
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable
I
taking
can't
any of
discuss
them in
that.
round 2 than Mac Jones at 3.
You guys remember when Kellen Mond threw 6 touchdown passes against LSU?
Oh yeah, it was a
And then-
7
Oh, yeah.
overtime game.
Yeah, then all the
Yeah.
hype for him went.
Remember when
fucking
KJ Costello
nuts.
did the same thing?
I forgot KJ Costello was even.
He's in this draft class, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like Brady White. Like you have like no idea
He's
they're
so
in there.
bad.
Oh, I didn't watch Costello this time around, so.
Yes, Jared.
Mac Jones goes undrafted.
Just see, that's a take we can all
Mac
get
Jones at
behind.
8. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. We might as well.
My hot take
I
for
don't
Mac-
want to ruin Jared's mental health, but I just want to see a genuine reaction. Mac Jones going at 3.
My
All
hot
right,
take
that-
is Atlanta takes Mac Jones at 4. Which is like weird. I
don't even know what this is referring to.
That's wonderful. You just love to see it.
I love how I preface I don't want to ruin Jared's mental health. I just want the reaction, and he still tells me to fuck
Oh,
off.
fuck. I misread that as being from Bossman, not from Jered. I don't know why.
Oh.
So, but I
Well,
don't know
it's 'cause
what
we're
that's
so
referring to that I realized, yeah.
Well, that's because Mike, you and I were so used to Boss Man cussing us out for taking.
We really
Ardarius
are.
Washington.
Oh, why not? Where's Ardarius Washington going just for the memes?
Oh, in our mocks.
Is Tyler on the phone
No.
right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go like around the horn. Where do you have Ardarius, and why is it
Yeah,
not Dallas?
Sorry about that. That was my mommy.
Oh,
Oh,
So
He's here,
you said,
Darius
where's
Washington.
Darius going?
Yeah,
Safety
where's-
one. Let's go.
Where's he going?
I
Anywhere
want him
but
to go to
Dallas.
Kansas City.
ooh, I like that.
To play with Tyrann Mathieu.
Learn behind Tyrann Mathieu, and then
I
move
like
on
it.
from him, and then pay our Darius
Okay.
Washington next to nothing.
Yeah, I like
Washington
that.
and Thornhill would be a great combo.
And they'd be cheap.
Yeah, and they need to save money.
Good.
Matthew is he is the Kansas City defense though. I have a hard time moving on from him.
Shocker.
Even if you're replacing him with Ardarius, who is the second coming of Tyrann, still.
Yeah.
He's the heartbeat of that defense.
Yeah. I loved our Darius Washington.
He's so good.
His film is good.
I know
Really good.
Boss
Well,
Man
his
agrees.
2019 film is significantly better than his 2020 film, no?
I thought they were both really good.
Yeah,
I didn't
Yeah.
watch a lot of
Jordan, I think I'm
2019.
kind of with you on
I
that,
love
yeah.
2020.
Yeah, I think he was better in 2019. I watched a few games in 2020 where still making some good plays, still around the ball a lot, but just not quite as he came out in his interviews and he said, where does he want to be? He said he wanted to be around the ball. I didn't see him around the ball as much in 2020, but I still have a second round grade on him.
I think we all have a second on him now.
Third
I'm
for me,
I'm
I
a
think.
third. I'm a third.
yeah, I think.
His size just scares me. Which I mean, Tyrann Matthew,
Yeah.
small.
Yeah.
It's all but Tyrann Matthews, like the honey badger. That is the honey badger. It's hard to project Tyrann Matthew.
He is.
It is, and you're chasing the exception to the
Yeah.
rule.
Mhm. The outliers,
that-
yeah.
But he plays so similarly with his his mentality kind of seems very Honey Badger-esque. Another guy who's very Honey Badger-esque, I think, and is in the similar mold, Elijah Molden. I think a lot of people have Molden way higher than Washington. I'm not sure why there's such a gap in a lot of these rankings
It's honestly
between
about the
Molden and
same.
Washington.
That's because I think Molden's a slot corner. I don't see him as a safety. I
Right.
get
But the
it.
thing is, he played more safety in college, obviously. And so you're projecting him to be a better slot corner.
Well,
Just,
he
just let
played.
it out, Jared. He's
Stop.
just mad at all of us
Stop. Please stop.
Then
No.
That's Ben's worst nightmare.
Your next pick's on Walker Little.
Why,
No,
hey,
Walker
Jared,
Little is
just
my
watch
worst nightmare.
Carolina
I'd rather have
trade
Mac Jones.
3
than Walker
first
Little.
rounds for Deshaun Watson, and Watson never plays another down in the NFL. There you go.
We're about to get another fuck you, Tyler, in the chat, aren't we?
I think about that a lot. Like, what happens if Deshaun would have gotten traded this offseason and then it came out? Like, I
God.
think,
Oh, that would have
Would
been
have been
fucked.
a disaster.
That would have been a lot more interesting, but I really enjoy seeing the Texans kind of having to be taken on this ride after the poor decision making they've had over the last few years.
Oh, for division rival fans, this has to be great.
oh yeah.
Well, and just that organization, regardless of divisional rivals, like they have been a trash organization for the last couple of years.
I love shit disturber Jared. This is
He's
amazing.
killing it on here. Walker
No,
Little in the first.
No,
Please,
God,
no.
no. I would die on the
No.
inside.
Hey guys, let's talk about
my
this. Let's talk about this. We don't believe that Walker Little should go in the first. The
Or the second
NFL,
or
however, I could see Walker Little going in the first. Do we think it will happen? Not do we think it should? Do we think it will happen? Because I think there's a non-zero chance it does.
It's non-zero, but it's not big. It's like
if Baltimore takes Walker Little at either 31 or 27, I will get up from the seat, walk to my window, and jump out head first. All right, I will not be able to cope with that at all. I would start aggressively crying.
Look, here's
I don't see
the Walker Little thing. All the reports are coming out. Teams are going to be cautious with guys who didn't play this last season. Like, he's had injury concerns. He didn't play, and his tape isn't that good. Like, he's athletic. I get that, but I just don't. I do not think he's going round one, but I do think he maybe goes round two, and I think Seattle is going to look at him, and I'm going to be sad.
All right,
I can't see him going in round one either. There's just, if the class wasn't as deep, maybe you could talk about it, but there's too many good offensive tackles and not enough teams that need them.
All right. Jered kind of brings up a good point, and I'm going to kind of pivot the conversation. Lamar Jackson just got moved its field season. Bucky Brooks, our good friend Bucky Brooks at the NFL Network, talked about this, and I think he's wrong, but I also think he's right. I don't think the Ravens should do this because Lamar Jackson's an MVP. But let's have a conversation about this. A team consistently rotating out quarterbacks to keep them on rookie deals to really maximize their window. Somebody's going to do it. I thought it might have been Sean McVay with Jared Goff and the Rams, but they chose to go a different direction, and it kind of cost them in the end. Do you think a team should really do this? Like, should they just cycle out quarterbacks? Now, Nick, I'll let you go first because I know this was about your team. I don't think they should do it with Lamar Jackson because he's an MVP winner. But if you had a Carson Wentz, a Jared Goff, and they're kind of like that fringe guy, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm full agreement. I don't think Lamar's the quarterback to try this on. However, I don't think the idea is inherently stupid overall. I mean, because you kind of have to avoid, paying quarterbacks an exorbitant amount of money and then have them completely crap the bed, a la like Jared Goff did. But also, I'm of the opinion that let's say that you perform well each season, you get they're not when do you get a quarterback? Let's say you're 27th consistently in the draft. You'd have to leverage picks to go up and get a quarterback, depending on how good the quarterback class is. So that's where I could see it not being a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, with Justin Fields, if you're looking at him as a prospect compared to Lamar Jackson, you obviously take Justin Fields. I think everybody would. But you've seen Lamar Jackson in the NFL. You've seen him win the MVP. You've also seen him struggle in the playoffs to a certain extent. I agree that I don't think it's a bad decision, regardless of the Ravens situation, just in general. But how do you move on from an MVP this early? I just don't know how you do it.
You don't.
I have a really radical Lamar Jackson take. And
I think Garrett just said it in the chat. It's completely it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
If you miss on it, you don't just get to say, "Oh, we're moving on," and now we get another guy who's gonna keep the same level of play. If you miss on that second guy or the third guy,
you're toast.
You're done.
Yeah.
Not only that,
whatever roster you have.
It's great to talk about it in a class where we're going to have 5 first-round quarterbacks anyways, maybe possibly even a 6th. What happens if you get a 2013 or a 2019 where there's no guarantee at quarterback?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, what happens if you just have a normal quarterback class? You're right. It's unsustainable.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make an argument for it because technically the Vikings have been doing it for my entire life. They prioritize team building and throw a guy in a quarterback. And they've been relatively successful with it. In the 90s, they made the playoffs every single year except for one. They have made the NFC Championship game in 98, 2000, 2009, 2017, all with relatively.
Your mic cut out.
Mike, it's gone.
What the?
The one common thread with everything you just said right there, though, no Super Bowl. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to hate on the Vikings. I like the Vikings fine, but in order to win that Super Bowl or to win multiple Super Bowls, you got to get a guy. and they just haven't done that enough throughout the years.
Yeah.
Now, is Lamar Jackson a Super Bowl quarterback? I think that's an interesting question.
Even I'm not 100% on that, and I'm a Ravens fan.
I try to not write guys off before their 23rd birthday. Like, that's just me personally.
Here's my big thing with Lamar Jackson. That offense needs to evolve, and it needs to become more vertical in order to sustain its success.
Yes.
They need another receiver. They need somebody.
The gimmick of the power run and utilizing Lamar Jackson is great as he continues to develop, but eventually he needs to become a better drop back passer, and that ball needs to move down the field to be truly successful. And that's where, like with Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers, it's kind of where they fell off. They never really grew past the gimmick, and they just kept trying to go to it, and eventually it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Is their offensive coordinator, he was the coordinator for the 49ers as well?
Yeah, it's Greg Roman. Yeah.
Is he the guy to do that?
Probably not.
I don't think so, because Greg's kind of been that like it worked. It works. So I'm going to keep doing it until it
boomer mentality.
Exactly.
It worked in my day, so it'll work in this day.
It'll work every time. Yeah.
It never fails.
Forever.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I went 14-2 once. This will work.
Yeah. That was a fever dream, wasn't it?
All right. Should I hit my bold prediction in my mock? It's not really that bold, but
yeah.
Wow, we got away from that quick.
Yeah.
we can segue kind of into talk about quarterbacks. But I have the Patriots trading up with Carolina for Fields at 8.
I do as well.
And I kind of talked about some with it on Twitter last night about like where New England could trade up, who could trade up, what picks are looking to go back. But I think Carolina makes a lot of sense. There was the report yesterday that they have talked about a package to move up to 8, and that Bill likes Fields a lot. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But we can kind of segue that into talking about obviously 1, 2 are set, but what happens at 3 and 4, and then after that.
3 can't be Mac Jones, guys. It just can't.
It can't. It shouldn't. It can't. It just.
I think it's going to be.
I think it's gonna be just because this is today's NFL. Like, not like the white quarterback argument, but like it's kind. It just feels so like it's so typical NFL. Like Mac Jones.
All the comments they made over the weekend were so sketchy.
Safe.
Oh yeah.
Air quotation. Safe.
I put it on Twitter where
already.
Immediately what sprung to mind was when Daniel Jones went 6th. Because no one really saw that one coming. But the difference is that no one saw Daniel Jones going 6th, but they were originally slated to pick 6th. They didn't have to trade up to get him.
Yeah.
And, I mean, is Mac Jones a better quarterback prospect than Daniel Jones?
Yes. But like a hair.
Debatable.
They're like neck and neck.
I think I would take Mac over Daniel Jones. If
I have Mac Jones come to Andy Dalton. So
Jones has the potential ceiling with his athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a little bit of an argument there, but I think the better thing to say is neither of them should be top 10 quarterbacks.
No,
Oh God,
one doesn't
Jesus
cost
Christ.
you 3 firsts.
Yeah, if they traded up all that draft capital to get up for Mac Jones, I mean. Yeah, like
we found
said,
it.
Just can't be.
We would know a GM worse than Sonny Weaver.
There you go.
It's just like, what is the best case scenario for Mac Jones? Like, what are you hoping he's going to be over Fields and Lance? Like, what?
Jimmy Garoppolo?
Kirk Cousins.
Everybody keeps saying Tom Brady. It's such an unrealistic expectation.
He's not Tom
If it's
Brady.
unrealistic expectation.
No one is.
Not.
Here's the thing with Kyle Shanahan's offense, and I think something that a lot of people don't talk about, but should. He doesn't want a mobile quarterback because he wants the play action to be more effective. And he doesn't want a quarterback that's a great runner for that reason, because a play action means more. And the way his offensive structure works, it makes sense.
So you just want a categorically worse quarterback to run
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
No, I'm saying in that, I understand that it's great for his system, but if your system is, I want in every sense of the word, in every category, ceiling where he is now, he's categorically worse than any of the other top quarterbacks. I want that guy, and I'm willing to mortgage my future on someone where if he reaches his potential, is the exact same player we already have.
Yeah.
It's Jimmy Garoppolo.
Kirk Cousins with a DUI.
2 DUIs.
Here's the thing.
He's got more DUIs than years as a starter.
Kirk Cousins is incredibly valuable on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
Like if Kirk Cousins was being paid $8 or $9 million, Vikings fans would be thrilled.
But he's
making $41 million in cap hit this year.
But you're also talking about someone where their potential is Kirk Cousins. He's not even there now.
Yeah.
Well, and you have the inexperience. Like it's talked about with Lance all the time, and it's like, oh, Lance has only started 1 year. Da 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 da. Like that's true. It's a true. Like it's a valid concern, and obviously it's something he needs to be worried about. But Mac Jones started like basically the same amount of games.
Yeah, the argument people make is the
You're going in with a guy. You're going in with a guy who's less talented, and who is going to have his rookie year. Like you're not going to a Super Bowl even with that. Like that roster is really good, but you're not going deep into the playoffs with Mac Jones, and your rookie Mac Jones is your starter. I don't think.
Likely not now.
No.
Or sophomore.
Right.
Especially in that division. Right. I mean,
they're not. I'm as a Seahawks fan. Draft Mac Jones, please. like I do not want to face. I do not want to face Fields or Lance twice a year. I just don't want to.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Let's move on from Mac Jones. How about that?
Yeah, because this is kind of depressing.
I cannot wait, dude. Like, just like six and a half hours from now, we're like all sitting here, and
I hope we don't
free.
know. I hope they don't
what?
spoil.
Like, you
right.
imagine, like we're sitting here 6.5 hours from now, and we're just waiting.
All right, Andrew mentioned a good point. The Niners did make a call for Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Tom Pelissero talked about it about 10 minutes ago. No formal offer was made, and they got categorically shut down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
they
like,
should have made that call.
What would they have to trade?
15 years ago.
They offered. It was like nuts. They said the Niners offered like 3, like the 2/3, and like Fred Warner for Aaron Rodgers.
I didn't see Fred Warner, but I did see Jimmy Garoppolo.
Poor Fred.
I don't think there's any amount of picks that would lead me to get rid of Aaron Rodgers right now.
I would say, am I nuts to think that I would do that for Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, everybody has a price. There is a price for
he's
everyone.
like,
And with Jordan Love,
it's just
like,
the
they have
age.
Jordan Love.
Like I can have Trey Lance now, or like I only have Rodgers for like 3 more years, 2 more years.
But you got a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Each of the next 3 years.
Yeah. So,
does Jordan Love get traded this weekend? Like,
who would trade for him at
there
this
was
Patriots.
the Patriots rumor.
yeah, but if they're trying to trade up, they're not going to get Jordan Love.
There are
Or
only
the
3
Saints.
teams I could see that would trade for him: the Patriots, the Bears, who the Packers would never deal him to,
Nope.
and the Washington Football Team.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's it.
What about the Saints?
I
No.
don't think so.
Dude, they have like $30 million going to their fullback quarterback thing.
Like how you said thing.
Fullback quarterback thing.
Well,
Fullback man.
Hey,
you guys see, like,
fullbacks
this
matter.
scripted trade that was in Green Bay's office. Did y'all see that picture?
Oh, everybody did.
Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
It was
largely off
like a
Twitter.
scripted trade in Green Bay's office, and it was 15 for Love, 29 and a 4th.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be terrible process by Green Bay to
I know.
trade up to get Love the year before and then trade him to move up, 14 spots? Like, that's a terrible process.
If it was like
their
15,
draft already sucks. So I
if
guess
it was
it's not
15 and like a third for Love and 29, I could see that being a little more acceptable, but no. It's bad.
Like,
All
you have to move the 4th with him.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
All right, guys, we've been going just over an hour. Let's try and wrap this up. We got to make sure that we are 100% ready for tonight. Let's get some final thoughts around the corner. Nick, your topic for the day was chaos factor. Let's hear everybody's big nugget of chaos leading into tonight.
So, for me, as much as I would loathe it happening tonight, you got to admit, Mac Jones going at 3 would just set the world on fire. And that's something I kind of want to see. Like, in deep down inside, I want to see like the whole world burn.
I want the McCorkle memes.
Please.
Yes. Mike, chaos for tonight.
Howie Roseman pulling a Howie Roseman in that it's probably someone he could have gotten like 15 picks later.
So he's taking Elijah Moore at 12. Done.
Yes. Which would mean 3 straight years in the top 2 rounds going wide receiver. And all of them reaches.
Yeah.
Do we all like Elijah Moore more than Jalen Reagor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Elijah Moore can catch the football.
There you go.
I trust his hands a lot more.
Yeah. Russ, chaos factor for tonight.
I'm thinking like a run on pass catchers, like Pitts 4, like Waddle 6, you get or Chase 5, and like teams just start panicking. Like Bateman will like jump all the way up to like 14, or like not 14, like 12. You get like 11. Just like push the entire board up. Cause defenders to slide in the back end. That'd be nuts.
I'd love to see it.
Ben?
It's more because I want to tackle.
I think 4, like looking at pick 4, what the Falcons do is going to change so much. If they like Washington's talked about trading up, now the Saints, I don't think they get up that high, but someone trading up for a quarterback at 4, or that would change everything. Like that will change so many team strategies in the teens and in the 20s. So I think that's going to be a fun pick to see what happens, or they just stick and take Pitts and then we kind of just continue as normal.
Jordan?
All right. How about multiple running backs? Travis Etienne to Buffalo, you mentioned. Najee Harris probably shouldn't go to Pittsburgh because they need to fix that offensive line to get their run game going. But how about, both of them going in the first round? And maybe you even see Javonte Williams, who is easily, for me, ranked higher than them.
All right.
What's
Chaos
yours?
for me. Justin Fields will fall to 14, and the Vikings will not take him.
Oh my!
I'm going to meme myself because I can just see it happening, and he ends up going to New England at 15.
Would you be a sad panda? Like,
watch the stream tonight. If it ends up being Elijah,
NFL should be sad if Fields gets to New England.
Watch it being Elijah Vera Tucker with Fields on the board.
oh my god,
You'd like literally die.
you'd cry.
That's your.
He'd cry.
That is his Lovecraftian nightmare. That is literally what that is.
Hey, what I like the dark humor, guys. I really do. Self-deprecation.
We're just
All right.
going to end the stream on such a sad note.
With that, guys, we are just 5 hours and 45 minutes away from the NFL draft. Make sure you check out the Blue Chip Scouting stream live tonight, where we're going to break down all the picks. And if you want to see me specifically, you won't see me on that stream. You'll see me on Climbing the Pocket. But with that, thank you very much from all of us here at Blue Chip Scouting for joining us. Be sure to hit like and subscribe to both this video and the YouTube channel to make sure that you catch all of our great stuff. We've got a rotating cast of crew breaking down anything and everything NFL draft and NFL. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.